Uh, Hello everyone, this is Uncharted 4 for the Uncharted 4? Uncharted 1 for the PlayStation 4 was a good start. Right, time starts after I've skipped the first cutscene, so I'll count down then. Right, so 3, 2, 1, go. So at the start, this is just scripted events. There's nothing special about the start here. Although I do like to remove the barrels because I noticed a bit of a bug in the game that was causing me to auto-aim at things that I didn't want to aim at. So yeah, but there's nothing really different about the start for the PlayStation 4 version. In fact, the entire game is pretty much the same, except some different strats. This game is far easier to glitch into things, so to speak, meaning the game is a lot faster. Elena's just as annoying as she was on the PlayStation 3 version. Marathon safer strats because there's a couple of points in the game where the time loss is too great, but the time is still pretty good. So as long as I hit around the 45-minute mark, I'll be happy with the run.
Sully, where are you?
So I've just noticed in the chat someone asked what airwalk was. So a glitch was found in this game by Matt10111. I'm sure some of you guys may have seen some of the stuff he's done with glitches. So in this game, basically, the way the airwalk was found was with the tweaks in the game. So you could use the tweaks to put Nate into slow motion mode, and if you spammed aim, you could literally walk through any wall and walk off the map. Cutting the game, the speed run of this game by another half, which is absolutely ridiculous for a game. But unfortunately, the airwalk run probably isn't the most interesting of runs because most of it is Nate walking off of the map for several minutes at a time. So it doesn't get run a lot, unfortunately. I did do a run not too long ago where the tweaks weren't needed to do the airwalk, but that was killer. It was the worst thing I could have possibly done. So most of the movement in this game is bunny hopping and relying on combat running speed. So usually if you've been shot at by the enemy, Nate will go into a faster sprinting speed. If that can be triggered, then that's very helpful in the run. So the first glitch that's going to come up, basically at this point coming up, you would normally climb around the ruins to get to the point in which you need to get to. On the PlayStation 3 version, I believe there's some vines that you would normally do a little boost from, which was called Sky Launch, but here we're just going to use the tree. So basically what happened there, Nate rolls onto a slightly raised part of the tree, clipping into it slightly, and you can use that to climb the rock and avoid doing all the ruin climbs. The one thing that's nice about this version of the game is the fact that it's at 60 FPS, but that does have its downsides as well. Unfortunately, it means that some of the glitches are slightly harder to perform, one of them being the vine launch, as I'll demonstrate later on. I'm going to try and do it, I'm hoping I'll pull it off, but if I don't, then it's no big deal. So that glitch there is your typical wall clipping. In this game, it just involves you spamming the aim button and moving left. So by doing that, I'm skipping portions of the game just to get through as quickly as possible. Some things I will try to do safer, because this game's movement is very awkward. It's camera reliant for a start. If you change the camera angle in any way, shape or form, regardless as to whether or not you're holding up, Nate will move in that direction. So and I've been known to screw up his movement quite a lot. So this part can be a little bit dangerous if not taken carefully. Oh,
I made it.
messed up that roll.
Okay.
So yeah, the slight change now that I'm going to do is normally that lower platform down there is where you'd normally clip, but we're going to do it up here. It's quite risky because the floor that you can clip onto is quite narrow. If you don't position yourself very well, you can fall to your death, but thankfully the checkpoint's right next to it, so it's not too much of a loss. So the next skip we're going to do probably skips a couple of minutes of climbing, which is the classics sub clip. On this version of the game though, it doesn't crash anymore like it used to. On the PlayStation 3 version, you would normally have to clip through and then wait for the scenery to change to a different colour before you could move any closer to the sub. But on this version, as long as you've got the right camera angle, then you can simply walk into it. I do apologise if I mince my words a little bit. I'm not the greatest of speakers, and on top of that, I'm suffering with hay fever or pollen allergies at the moment due to the hot weather. So there's nothing special about this really. We can't really skip this part, unfortunately. So there'll be a cutscene that I'll be skipping coming up. When we come out of it, the only upside is that if you time it right, you can make Nate avoid slower walking animation for a split second, so it boosts you a little bit, but it's not really that much of a save, and I didn't get it there, so... As I just read in the chat, someone said that Uncharted is quite a colourful game. I actually prefer the PS3 version. I think it's more colourful. So the next skip that's coming up, it's only a small skip. Bit notorious for being a pain on the PS3 version, but on the PS4 it's slightly easier as long as you pull it off correctly, which is skipping these trees. Or I say skipping them, just clipping through them. So the reason why I pick up the AK there is just for safety, in case I run out of bullets. These guys we tend to ignore. The great thing about the PS4 version is on Explorer, the enemy don't do as much damage as they would on the PS3 version, because you have Explorer difficulty, which is really easy. But that doesn't mean to say that we can avoid getting hurt. So here, if we restart checkpoint, it actually boosts us forward. That last guy that I just shot, he triggers a checkpoint. Yeah, didn't help. So if RNG's on my side a little bit, I can just spam the gun and he'll hit them. So yeah, at the moment I'm using the combat running speed. I'll need to carry that into the next chapter, otherwise I could lose a lot of time. So by spamming as I go into the next chapter, as you can see Nate's gun, so that means he's got his combat speed still.
Most likely dead. That's great. Great start.
It's 100% consistent if you run into the chapter spamming the gun. This wall can be awkward to clip into. There we go. So I'll do a little jump there because Nate swims out a bit quicker if you do that. Gives him a small boost. So by clipping that wall there, I've avoided spawning enemy up here. But I will need to trigger a checkpoint a bit further on. Some may notice as well that as I'm climbing stairs or when I jump from a height, I'm shooting my gun, I'm blind firing. The reason for this is that it cancels a stagger animation, and on top of that, if you're on stairs, it cancels the slow climb and descending of the stairs. Right, so I'm going to try something here, and that didn't work, never mind. So you shouldn't be able to skip that point there. Normally you'd have the fight scene there that takes a few minutes to do. Normally the gate underneath you would you'd actually clip through that, but to be on the safe side, I've opted to trigger the checkpoint, because sometimes the jump here can fail at the waterfall, and if it does fail, it's like roughly 7 minutes lost on the run. But yeah, this game's pretty broken. Other than, you know, some of the usual fight scenes, you do tend to avoid a lot of the gunfights. There's a little skip up here, saves a few seconds. You're basically avoiding watching a cutscene, as long as you perform it correctly, otherwise it's a small loss because you can fall into the water and obviously lose time. Auto aim kicking me in the teeth there. Yep, that's fine, that should do it. So normally you would watch the truck fall down the waterfall there, but you can normally get ahead of the game there and trigger the checkpoint. So it's now time for barrel RNG. So on the PS3 version, the clip coming up would normally be a rock, where you avoid the fight here. But as long as barrel RNG doesn't slap me in the face, then I should be able to skip the fight by doing a clip from the barrel, and I'll demonstrate how ridiculous it looks. And there we go, I've just clipped the wall. So all I've done is, for some reason, Naughty Dog put a wall that Nate can cover against on that barrel. And as long as you position yourself correctly, you can actually use that to jump over and then just go through the trees. So there's another new little strat here. So it avoids the traps up ahead. We clip into this wall, but you have to be careful because, as you can see, the camera changes and you can actually walk back inbounds. But thankfully I didn't walk out, so everything's good. So up ahead is Divine Launch. On the PS3 it's very easy to perform, on the PS4 it's very hard. The chance of success is 20%, but because it's a small loss, I'm going to give it a go and see if it works. Nate likes climbing on invisible objects. So here it goes. I'll demonstrate if it goes wrong what happens. Right. It's also harder to perform. And yeah, it failed. So Nate kindly launches off into God knows what planet and then dies. So yeah. It's unfortunate that didn't work, but it was nice to show off. So I'll be going the old-fashioned route.
Eyes ahead, don't look down.
It's hilarious to watch. If it works properly, you end up at the cutscene in the tower, which is ideal because it saves about 15 to 20 seconds on a run if you can pull it off. Otherwise you probably lose about 40 seconds, but it's no big deal really. For some reason Nate don't want to clip that wall. I might have triggered enemy here, I hope I haven't, but we'll see. No, that's good. Haven't triggered anything. So, very shortly we're going to have grenade RNG time. There's a risk up ahead that I could die because I'll have a grenade chucked at my feet. So on the PS3 version, you would normally climb up on this ledge, you'd run backwards and then clip a wall, avoiding the gunfight. But Explorer difficulty makes this a lot easier. The only downside is having grenades thrown at your feet when you clip back in. Hopefully they don't chuck one at me. No, it's looking good, so... I'm seeing in chat as well people mentioning about how it wasn't patched for the PS4 version. I think from my understanding all they'd done was a graphical upgrade, including upping the FPS. I think they wanted to keep the core gameplay as it was. But If anyone that could find out that information, it would probably be Up and Donkey, as he's obviously working for them now. So why the double clip? So I should have explained that. So basically, the only way you can advance this tiny area, this little puzzle area, is by clipping both in and back out. The reason for this is because for some reason there's like a, if you clip out into that area and back in, it activates the chains to lift the door, the gate. Without doing that, you can't do the water puzzle. You can't raise the water to climb. So it has to be done. Unfortunately, there's been no alternative route found unless you do an airwalk. In which case, you probably wouldn't be there if you was doing an airwalk, because you could walk. With airwalk, you can actually run from chapter 4 all the way to chapter 12 safely. So a lot of the areas are on the same map in this game. It's just a case of whether or not we could get them. We can actually get the levels or the chapters triggered via checkpoints, but most of the time they're not there. So restarting the checkpoint there skips a little cutscene for this area. Small save. So the next, well, I say a skip. It's more of a being able to do it correctly and not die. Hopefully I'll be able to do it. So basically you'd skip doing like a large portion of the jump in here. And I kind of messed it up, but it's okay. It's okay, I didn't fall to my death, so... You can do that faster, but it runs the risk of you jumping to your death because of the way the game and the camera works.
This must have been Drake's. So what were you looking for, huh?
So we've got the, I can't even think of the word for it.
Oh, crap.
The driving chapter. That we won't be driving, we'll just be shooting grenades randomly at pirates. For the sake of it. You could probably get to the end without getting hurt, really, because the AI is pretty dumb to some extent on Explorer. I just like to show off my aim for no reason. This part I hate simply because it's just not fun. Much like the jet ski parts coming up as well. They're quite frustrating only because the jet ski is awkward to control. I think this is the only time Elena is useful in this entire game. The only game she ever becomes useful is Uncharted 4. In Uncharted 4 she's a badass, but in this she's just a pretty face. Well, that's a bad thing, I suppose. No, I agree with you there. It's definitely not fun. Unfortunately, I think every single Uncharted game that's come out has got something like this in it. And I understand if they were trying to make it a bit different, but these amazing driving skills there. And him. You see the guys at the back of his Jeep. See them being blown to smithereens by my grenade and thought, I'll stuff this. What's the point? And then drove off the cliff for no reason. That guy doesn't even think to get into the front of the quad bike. The quad bikes can sometimes actually crash into the other quad bikes as well, I've noticed. But the rest of the time they don't, they just drive through them like they don't exist. Nearly at the end of this chapter. I totally agree. There's sometimes you can actually see them appear from, like, they clip through the rocks and just appear from nowhere. Right, so here, when the camera changes, if I restart checkpoint, it puts me onto land, so I can start my combat run speed. So I'll be clipping this wall here and avoiding this area entirely, as long as I don't fall to my death. Run past everything, Elena can crack on and get shot by pirates. So I'll be playing it safe here. Normally you can just jet ski through most of these barrels, but I will be playing it safe because, again, barrel RNG. For some reason, these particular barrels here that I've just shot, they're very dangerous. They have a very big explosive range and they take you down to virtually no health. And then of course if you get headshot by one of the pirates sitting in the ruins, then you get sent all the way back. So here I'm going to shoot the floor before I get off the jet ski. This causes Nate to go into combat speed for some reason. Not entirely sure why that is, but we're going to use that to our advantage. And the next skip we're going to do is basically clipping through this wall. We've avoided pretty much most of this chapter. As you can see, all the floor there has disappeared. Jump down and photo mode. So basically going into photo mode, for some reason if we aim it through the door and then run through, it loads in the next area. If you don't do that, the floor is, you can fall through it. So, safety strat time. So basically what I plan to do is I'm going to clip back through where the enemies have just spawned. I'm going to kill them to trigger a checkpoint, because if I die now, or if I die on the broken bridge, unfortunately it means a soft lock and I'll probably lose about 10 minutes of time. Oh wow, that was dangerous. Okay, so I've triggered that, so I should be safe now. So yeah, if you fall at this point when you haven't triggered the checkpoint, Nate's death animation doesn't disappear, so once he falls to his death, it stays like that. You can't restart checkpoint or anything because the game doesn't know where Nate is, and it's basically a soft lock. So I'd have to start the chapter again and do all the jet ski again.
Here we go.
Right here, on the PS3, dangerous area. Normally people would play it safe here, but on this version, because of auto aim, you can use that to your advantage and take out the guy on the machine gun. That gives you the opportunity then to advance forward and then clip the wall and skip that entire room. So as I mentioned before, shooting my gun as I'm running up the stairs, it cancels the slower animation when climbing the stairs. So these are quick, easy kills. You can just run in, pretty much spam, and then you're in. So yeah, the jet ski on this part is really awkward because of the I can't even speak. The fast flowing river. Unfortunately, it just makes. They've tried to make it realistic, but it's actually very awkward to control the jet ski. I've done it plenty of times now though to not be too bad at it. But there will be times like that where I hit a wall, bounce off stuff, and Nate and Elena become pinballs. So this part can be awkward as well because Elena has a bit of aiming RNG on this part. You can generally spam your gun and she will auto aim at everything in front of her, but on occasion she for some reason just completely fails. So you end up with a situation where you end up driving into barrels, so you've got horrible barrel RNG again. And more specifically, if you're relying on Elena to shoot the barrel by the time you've got there, and she doesn't shoot it until the last moment, you're theoretically blowing up the barrel right on top of yourself. So this part's a little bit scary. The guys here have quite ridiculous aim. RNG plays a big part here as well. Sometimes they can aim you with like pinpoint accuracy and pretty much kill you, but as long as you play it a bit safer, you should be alright, and on this occasion I'm okay. So coming up is where a lot of the changes were probably made in regards to the fastest strats for this game. I will be playing it a bit safer, simply because again you lose way too much time. So I'll be using, basically I'll be skipping portions of it to get to the puzzles, or the puzzle in chapter 15, but generally you can actually skip that, which is a much faster way of doing it, but it's very risky. And again, that involves photo mode, but you'll see some photo mode coming up as well. Yeah, for some reason they have an infinite supply of these barrels. I think they just want to rub it in and drop them on your head. Yeah, normally there's a little skip there as well, but I won't be doing that because you can fall, and again, it's enough of a time loss to make a difference, because it sends you all the way back to the start of chapter 13.
I know, me too. Let's just find Sullivan and get the hell out.
So what we do is we trigger the combat speed here by shooting. This gets the enemy angry. And then we clip that wall back because these guys, again, they can be a bit awkward. So this is the photo mode. We have to do it quickly when we clip through that wall, and the reason for that is Elena can die. She kind of, I don't know, it's like she loses her way, and if you don't do it quick enough, she just dies. There we go. So fingers crossed I managed to get the triangle prompt to show after I've clipped this wall. That's lucky. That's very lucky. That could have failed, but thankfully he grappled onto the ledge there. So all I done was I clipped into the room. Normally you would be doing the longer route through the catacombs, I believe, to get here. No, that's the wrong one. This is the one I want. So the skip here, the one that saves more time, involves you doing a shuffle up against a gravestone, which makes Nate climb the gravestone, and once you climb down you clip a wall, and once you've clipped this particular wall, you position yourself at the edge of where the polygons are, and then you would jump at an angle and time your photo mode correctly, and Nate will actually land in that puzzle. It will land in the room as if you'd loaded into the next chapter. And you keep your combat run speed. You need combat run speed to be able to do that. And obviously, if it's successful, then you carry that over into the chapter. But that jump there can be dangerous. So basically all we've done is we've climbed a lot of... I still can't speak properly. We've avoided a lot of climbing and basic puzzle solving. So we've clipped through that gate. It took us into the next area. And then there's that glitch there. For some reason, Nate treats... As long as you press the buttons, treats the ledge after you've jumped that as though there's a solid floor there. Oh wow, that was close. That was very close. Usually that's a one shot. Somehow I avoided it. Oh wow. Okay. That was very close. Coming up next, we've got chapter 17, which has got these like undead things. These are like cursed humans. They are part of the Spanish, I believe it's the Spanish army or German army that are part of the actual storyline. Won't spoil too much, obviously.
There's gotta be a way out of here.
But if you learn the pattern in which they jump up from the floors, you can kill them pretty quickly and quite easily. And you can actually save a fair bit of time as well. There's also a little skip here for this cutscene. After Elena has climbed up the ladder and the camera pans down, looking down at Nate, you can run off and you can skip the cutscene for some reason. So we are forcibly killing Nate there.
What the hell is going on down there?
Just get that rope down here! Fast!
It's totally rusted. It won't move.
That's really awkward.
Elena?
It's stuck.
Die. There we go. But yeah, as you can see, as long as you've got the pattern down quite nicely, this part's pretty easy. So I pick up the AK here for safety, because what I want to do is I want to initiate combat speed on the chapter outside the cathedral, but we're going to skip most of that chapter. We're also going to skip all of the next chapter. So when we get into chapter 18 after this cutscene, we're basically going to skip to chapter 20. Internet Explorer. Oh. So yeah, I use this opportunity to just hold the fire button here, just so I can run faster than Elena, leave her behind and get her killed. So yeah, this is chapter 18, but chapter 18 lasts a whole 10-15 seconds. And there we go, we just skipped past to chapter 20. So at the start of this chapter, Nate moves very slowly, but as soon as he grabs the radio like that, you can restart the checkpoint and then you can have your normal running speed. So we're near the end of the game. So this point onwards, normally you'd have a big fight scene here outside the cathedral, and normally you'd be doing some things in between. We're not going to do that. We're going to let Sully stand there and get shot. Because we don't care about him anymore, even though he's a cool guy. We're going to clip that door. And as you can see, there's normally enemies here, but they don't trigger because the last area is still loaded in. So, and here we're going to clip into this altar, and then we can fall down into the next chapter. So I changed my strats recently. Instead of climbing around the catacombs here, I'll just clip this wall and fall down here. It's much quicker, takes me into the final chapter. I'm doing quite well for time actually. Not that I use the speedrun timer in the game as a basis because it's very inaccurate, but in this category it needs to be shown. So we're coming up to the final boss. We're going to avoid most of it until the final scene, however. you'll need to get ready on time. So time will be when Nate does an uppercut to Navarro at the end after the quick time event. So I'll obviously say time when the run's finished. Again, on Explorer, it makes this last boss easy because we don't have to follow through with the traditional covering behind the boxes. We can literally just climb over, and as long as we're quick enough, Navarro won't take our heads off, or our head, should I say, with the shotgun. As you can see. Get ready on time. Time. And there we have it. That's I'd encourage anyone to actually give this a go. It's actually quite a fun speed run. I've been doing this actually for 2 years, which is quite a long time really. But by all means, come check out some runs with the current route. And if you're interested and you want to question anything, we're all friendly. We're all very helpful as well, especially myself. So more than happy to advise. But yeah, thank you very much. What was the time? 45:10. That's not bad. So I'm happy with that. I was expecting around the 45-minute mark. So yeah, thank you very much.